Please join me in welcoming the artist who made this film possible. I'm going to start with, well, everyone knows she's the film's true hero. She's the casting director of the movie. She's also the recipient of the Robert Altman Award. Please welcome Cassandra Kulukundis. Also joining us is an Academy Award-winning actor who portrays, I just love this character name so much, Sensei Sergio St. Carlos. Please welcome Benicio del Toro. We have a fantastic actor who you may have seen her award-winning turn in 1000 to 1. She plays Perfidia in the film. Please welcome Teyana Taylor. We have a two-time Academy Award-winning actor. To say his performance as Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw is one of his greatest is no small feat. Please welcome Sean Penn. An actor we all love, we all know she's a comedic genius on screen. She absolutely breaks our heart in this film. Please welcome Regina Hall. We have an incredible actor. I'm going to say this several times this night, and you're not going to believe it each time I say it. This is her first feature film. Please welcome Chase Infiniti. Oh, we have another Academy Award-winning actor. This is someone who has never delivered a less than exceptional performance. His portrayal of Bob Ferguson is no exception. Please welcome Leonardo DiCaprio. Finally, I think this is a movie that could only come from the brilliant and twisted mind who came up with this unbelievable ride of a movie. He's the film's writer, director, producer. I am so honored, just a little bit intimidated, to welcome Paul Thomas Anderson. Thank you all so much for being here. Congratulations on the funniest, most dramatic, tensest movie of the year. It's such a great film. I literally said this. I don't know if my most anticipated movie of the year has also ever been the best. So this is quite an achievement. I think this audience would agree with me. This is not an audience of your fellow actors. So I actually love to go back to the beginning, the very start, and ask, how did you get your SAG card? What was the job? And Paul, I'm so fascinated because I know, your dad was an actor. You have such a way with actors. Have you ever acted?
Oh, no, I haven't. It's too late for me. Maybe they know it. I think I'm secretly a very closeted actor. I love working with actors. It's the great thrill of making a film for me. It's the best part of the job. So but I have no desire to be an actor because I know too many good ones that I want to see do it.
You never did like a school play or anything?
No.
Wow. Not even like a Christmas pageant or something?
No, I wanted to write them and point them around and tell them what to do. I didn't want to do it.
That's amazing. Leo, for you?
Oh God, it's been a long time. I think I got kicked off of Romper Room. I remember that when I was very young, running up to the camera and saying, "Look at me." But then it was either Mickey's Safety Club, which was an after-school special thing, or a Matchbox toy car commercial where I played a gangster. And I think that's how I got my SAG card and became an actor.
A child gangster?
I was 12 years old.
Okay.
I was a child gangster. I've always been a child gangster.
Chase, for you?
I got my SAG card from my very first job I did, which was Presumed Innocent.
Wow. Your first TV show?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Regina, for you?
I did a McDonald's commercial.
Yes.
Yeah. And my line was, "And some McDonald's fries." And I thought I was going to be famous. I walked around the street like this. No, not one person recognized me. It was so embarrassing.
Well, you weren't wrong. It just took a little longer. Yeah.
Like 20 years.
Sean, for you?
I there was a Barnaby Jones episode where he was investigating a rehab center for teenagers where one of the counselors was selling us drugs. And Ed Harris was the counselor.
You're kidding.
And Madeline Stowe was the special guest star. And I was somewhere down there and had a few days on that. And
Wow, you're kidding. I thought you were going to say you were the counselor. You were the kid.
say again?
I thought you were going to say you were the counselor, but you were the kid?
I was 19 years old, yeah.
Wow, amazing. Teyana, for you?
I did this movie called Stomp the Yard too, and that's how I got my little SAG situation. I was like, you couldn't tell me nothing when my SAG card came in. I was like, I was so excited that I was actually happy to pay my dues too. I was like, okay, I gotta pay my little monthly dues. Okay, cool.
Benicio?
I played. I was a guest star in a TV show called Private Eye, and the great Lupe Ontiveros played my mother, and Margot Kidder was in it too.
Oh, wow.
It was just going in there and jumping fences and
Oh, amazing.
tucking and rolling. Yeah.
Cassandra, have you ever, I feel like you have to be an actor.
My
because
mother was a SAG actor and
Really?
would not allow me to be an actor.
But you
Not
were-
allowed me to go to acting school. When she found out it was a play, she was like, absolutely not, and shut it down.
Wow. But I mean, you do work sessions and you get to
Well, I
work
read
opposite
with
actors.
her. I would always help her learn her lines. I was really good at that. And I think it just fell in that I started reading with her friends and other actors. And so when they first started wanting somebody to find kids, that was me. They hired me to find kids for movies and things. So my first job.
That's so cool. Well, again, thank you all so much for being here, and congratulations on a fantastic movie. I obviously want to start at the beginning with Paul because, I was saying this film is so many things. It's action-packed. It's so timely. It's so unbelievably funny. What was kind of the initial inspiration or spark that became the script for the film?
Well, a bunch of different sparks spread about over a lot of many different years, but the very, very first spark was to really simply want to make a kind of action adventure film in the desert with car chases. That's just a sort of broad stroke, like, oh, wouldn't that be fun to do one day, And then that idea is in search of a stronger premise than that, And I had a story about a bounty hunter who went around and did bad things for bad folks, and then felt like he needed to change his direction. And that kind of stuck around for a while. And then really this book, Vineland, by Thomas Pynchon, who I adapted his book, Inherent Vice, a few years back ago, was a story that I loved very much. And a central premise there is a central premise that we've stolen of, what happens when revolutionaries scatter, and what happens when one of them, Bob, or in the book his name is Zoid, ends up in the Northern California woods with a daughter to raise, and the past comes back to haunt them. But rather than be respectful of the book like I did with Inherent Vice, I just kind of took what I needed and combined some of these other stories and just started running with it over the years and accumulating material, and kept thinking about these guys to put in the story, and it all just sort of started to come together quite strongly about 7 or 8 years ago. And then, if I'm honest, I think Cassandra and I thought the most important part was finding somebody to play Willa. And absent of finding somebody to play Willa at that time, we just kind of waited and made Licorice Pizza. And then getting back up again, finding the right Willa made it feel like it was really time to make the movie.
I'm a big believer that things happen for the right reason, and this movie probably took 20 years because Chase wasn't born yet.
This movie was waiting for Chase.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do genuinely feel that. just the same way it took Leo and I 25 years to work together. I feel like that was supposed to happen the way it was supposed to happen.
I am a little disappointed you didn't call the movie Vineland, because then you'd have made 2 movies based on the streets where I live.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm literally on the
Yeah.
corner of Magnolia and Vineland, so.
Well, shit, there's always time.
How about Cahuenga?
Cahuenga?
That's the other one.
The title of our next film is Cahuenga.
You heard it here first.
Okay.
Leo, for you, I've heard you said you've been wanting to work with Paul for some time. Why was this the right project? What was it like to get that call or text? I don't know how Paul Thomas Anderson reaches out to people.
It's kind of a ongoing conversation, and a lot. You know, he's talk with him, and he hires my dad for a movie, and then you continue to run into each other at dinners. I got that thing. I'm brewing on it. I just love that this was something that he'd been thinking about for such a long period of time, and I love the idea, the premise of this. You know, this. What Bob was to me was obviously a revolutionary, but he's so disconnected from the reality that he lives in. How he's supposed to raise his daughter? He's completely incapacitated. He's a drunk. He's a stoner, and then his past comes back to haunt him. And just the singular idea of not having an obvious through line with a character that would spring back into action, and everything sort of stops the moment you realize he can't remember the goddamn password. And those one singular ideas kind of consume the entirety of the narrative and the character. He's just propelling himself forward, even though he's constantly making mistakes and he's not, achieving what he's supposed to achieve in the movie. But I think we'd be remiss to not mention, a very pivotal person that was a part of this, and that was Adam Sumner, who both of us mutually worked with, and was a very beloved, dear friend of ours. And I think kind of said it's time. I think he said that to Paul. It said, I just worked with Leo. I think it's time you guys do this. And he was really the glue in a lot of ways that I think made this project happen for the both of us.
I just have to say, and I think actors will appreciate this, the scene on the phone. First of all, the guy's just doing his job, but we all feel your frustration. That actor is fantastic. Were you actually working with him? You're kidding. Okay. Was he on the phone or in the room or? Wow.
Both.
Wow. Because you really feel your frustration. I was concerned about you afterwards. Yeah.
The wokeness became entirely too much after a while.
I had to get a massage yesterday, and someone asked why I was so tense, and I was like, well, I just saw this movie, and it's got these chase scenes, and I was like, but there's a scene on a phone where I just got so frustrated. So truly felt it. And Chase, I'm gonna say it again. I can't believe this is your first film, and I'm sure every actor here wants to know the story of how you got cast, how you landed this amazing role. Where did it all begin? Was it a self-tape? Did you meet Cassandra?
It was a self-tape, and I was about a month into shooting Presumed Innocent, and I got an email in my inbox, and it said PTA/CK production, and I was like, okay, cool, and sent it in, didn't think anything about it. And then about a month later, I got a call from Cassandra saying, hey, Paul would like to meet you. And I was like, okay, cool, sounds great. And then she gave me details about what to prepare and what to practice. And then before she hangs up, she goes, also Leonardo DiCaprio and Regina are going to be there to do a chemistry read. And then was like, okay, I'll see you there. And I was like, excuse me? And then I go to the chemistry read, and it went great, and didn't really think anything about it. And then I just kept getting calls back from Paul and from Cassandra to come in for a camera test. And I got to read the script and just to have a lot of great in-depth conversations with Paul. And then it kind of went silent for a while. And then in October, Paul called me and asked me to come out to do some karate training as a final audition. And then right before I was about to go back home to Chicago, he was like, so you got the part. Okay, so this is what we're going to do next. And I was like, okay, cool. We're hitting the ground running. I'm ready to go.
It's amazing. Cassandra, I mean, it's obvious seeing Chase in the film, but what was it about her tape that stood out, or what was it that caught your eye?
Well, first of all, she's one of the most unique-looking people I've ever seen in my life. And in fact, there was a time where I even asked you to send me pictures of your family. I wanted to see everything and everybody about you. But also your dance tapes. When I saw her be able to dance and do her K-pop routine, I was like, she can she can learn martial arts. And you then told me you had been teaching kickboxing to pay through school. And I was like, this is great. And we went to a gym together and actually did some kickboxing, and we videoed it. And I was like, she's checking all the boxes. It was a very, very, very tough role. I mean, all the things that this girl needed to be. And there was Chase, thank God.
Was it the most challenging role to cast in this movie, or was that something else?
Well, it was the first challenging role, I would say. They all become a little challenging at some point, because it's like people are close, or it's this, but we really need that. I mean, Tim Smith was really hard, really, really hard. And once again, I call Mr. Hookenacker an absolute unicorn, because it was another thing. He needed this, and and we're so detail oriented. I think, Paul. I think we got to get over that a little bit. I mean, it's like why it takes us so long. That's why Chase didn't hear from us for a few months. We sit and we think, we overthink, we talk, and we're like, well, let's do one more thing.
I was actually going to ask if there was like some sort of a chemistry read, and Regina, I'm fascinated to hear, you being there as well. What was that sort of like? I mean, you're going in and you're auditioning for a big role, but you also have these two amazing actors you're working with. Obviously, it worked out.
I would definitely say so.
How did you psych yourself up for that?
I really just, if anything, was trying to be like, okay, I'm here to do my job and make sure that I do it well and show up for the other people in the scene, regardless of who they are and their status and their accomplishments. And I think that just grounding myself in that thought and being like, I'm here to show up for myself and show up for Paul and show up for Leonardo DiCaprio and show up for Regina Hall, I think that really, if anything, centered myself and let me hone into Willa.
Can I ask what the scene was that you did, or was it a different scene?
Yeah, it was a Bluto scene.
Yeah, I think it was the scene, when at the kitchen table. Right? Is that right?
That was
And then I think we did the scene when we did the scene with Regina in the bathroom. I think, and maybe there was another scene in the van that we did too.
We did the Vox scene that was not in the movie anymore.
Which one?
The Vox scene.
The Vox scene. Yeah,
the fight.
Yeah. We did a well and proper audition.
But it was a lot of fun. Like, I remember being Bluto and Leo yelling at me, and you were running around with a camera, and I would be videoing when I wasn't acting. It was like, we had a lot of fun, I thought.
Yeah.
Janet?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Was it fun for you, Chase?
It was like the best playground day ever. I got to play around with some incredible actors and a director who, the scope of his mind is insane. And also, it was just so funny watching him walk around, like, video everything on his iPhone and be like, okay, nice. Okay, next thing that we're going to do is this. So it was a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. And Regina, I wanted to, talk about your character as well, because I'm always so excited to see a film that has like a kick-ass female character in it. And this one has no less than 3. So what is it like to get a script and like see all these wonderful roles for women, but also, I've seen you do drama before. I know you can do it, but we really get to see a really complicated side of you in this.
It was good. It was great. I love Paul. I wanted to work with Paul for a long time. And so things with Paul evolve. You read a script and which I was very excited to see what a script would be and then what a movie would be. And the script is nothing. Can I tell it? So in the script, no, this is the truth. I'm going to tell it. I can tell it. I'm far enough away from him. I can tell it. In the script, Paul would have what happens, and then there would say something like chaos TBD. And you're like, oh, there's going to be like a chase, right? Car chase. But then he comes out and he's like, so you're going to go in between these cars. You're going to run. It's going to be about 10 miles. We got some cop cars, some helicopters. So your brain can't quite grasp what's in his brain. And so when you're actually shooting it, it's kind of like you're in real time in, filming with him. And he's coming up with stuff and you're creating stuff. So that for me, I'd never worked that much. You know what? No. No, 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 no. I got it. No, what it is he does a lot of prep work so that by the time you are there, you're prepared for it, even if you don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, we see your character like really more from, this revolutionary into somebody who's kind of has to adapt to a new world. And was it exciting to like sort of chart that journey?
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean yes, it's exciting. I mean it's a different role for me. It's the
Yeah.
quietest role I've ever played. It's the most internal role I've ever played. It's a lot. It was different for me to have to do a lot without words and more in so that you can feel what she's feeling and she can express that without the words. So it was wonderful.
You seem to really kind of enjoy. You're not cast against type because I've seen you be wonderful in so many things, but you do sort of enjoy casting people like unexpectedly. Is that?
Well, maybe, but I know Regina. I'll speak of her like she's not here. I know Regina, and I know her personally, and I know her soul. I know a part of her that maybe is in films often, and I know that besides wanting to work with her as a friend and a terrific actress, you're asking yourself what is the purpose of this part? This purpose of this part is one of the surviving members of the French 75 who probably has adapted to find a way to fight her own revolution. She's still doing more legitimate good work. You know that she's still in the fight in maybe a more proper and legitimate way. But really, you need somebody to play bass in this story. You need somebody to hold in a swirling chaos of crazy people. He's completely unreliable and insane. Benicio comes on late as somebody a little bit more grounded, but has his own whole other story. The probably the most potentially sane person is Chase, but she's handcuffed. So you're casting somebody, and what you get by having Regina is a soulfulness and a grounding quality that the story desperately needs. And you also need to know that, at least temporarily, Willa is in good hands.
Yeah.
I think that helps an audience progress through the journey. And it also makes it really fucking horrible when she fumbles her on the finish line.
Yeah. Sean, Lockjaw is such a despicable character, but I mean, he is okay, but I love that you don't necessarily play him as a villain. He is incredibly complicated. He's very dedicated. The word that kept coming to mind was righteous. I kept kind of thinking he was like Javert in some ways. Can you talk about approaching even someone like this as a three-dimensional human and preparing for the movie?
The most accurately I can answer that without going on and on is I don't dance. And the reason I don't dance is because if people see me dance, it damages them. But in lieu of dancing, I act sometimes. And I find that sometimes that doesn't offend people. And I am a guy sitting here sort of like, if you think of a social occasion you were at, I don't know, 8, 9 months, 10 months, a year ago, maybe you had a little drink and someone put the music on and danced. Well, Paul's script was that music. I danced. I kind of don't remember how else I got there. And here we are.
Now I really want to see him dance. Have you ever seen him dance?
I got injured watching it one time.
I have, you've worked with so many amazing directors. You're a fantastic director yourself. I've heard you say that, working on this movie kind of made you fall in love with acting all over again and working with Paul. I was wondering if you could, elaborate on that a little bit more. And when did you first fall in love with acting?
When did I first what?
Fall in love with acting.
Sort of by accident, because I had started with Super 8 movies with the idea of directing, because I like to pick where the angles were when in high school. Inspired by my younger brother, who was already doing that. And it turned out that I was in a small group who didn't do homework. And so when we would shoot at night with the Ektachrome film that you could get with the magnetic strip, I had to also act. And it was occurring to me that I really liked directing, but that in what world would I ask someone to entrust millions of dollars on my back to do that? So the next best thing was to follow through on an actor, Anthony Zerbe, who I thought is a wonderful actor, and he had come to career day at my high school. And there was something about his boots that I identified with an actor's boots. I thought I'd walk in them, and I bought a pair just like them at Florsheim. And that was kind of, and then I just jumped into theater, and it was like that.
That's amazing. Did you ever see him again, Anthony, after that?
Yeah, I did. I spoke to him maybe 10 years ago. My father directed television, and I remember that he had very high regard for Anthony Zerbe, and I think I might have even been on a set once.
Wow.
He had a great face and a very, very good actor. He was always the special guest star on one of the other shows in the 70s. And yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And by the way, I'm not convinced that Lockjaw is dead, because that's a guy survived a gunshot to the face and a car crash.
You know, there's plenty of Jason movies. That guy didn't die. Michael Myers came back.
I'm just saying, he seems kind of invincible. Sequel, possibly.
I'm in.
And that will be Coanga. Yes. Actually, I think I want you to call your next movie Chaos TBD.
Chaos TBD.
I like that.
The only reason I write Chaos TBD is if you're writing a script, no one wants to read about a car chase. It's like you want to see a car chase. You don't want to read about one. It's boring to read. You know, there's no way to make it exciting.
Teyana, again, your character is so complex. I so admire her, but I'm also, I get angry at her. What were sort of your initial thoughts when you read the screenplay, and how did, this casting come about?
It's actually crazy because I knew so much about Perfidia before I ever even got eyes on the script. I remember I was on a road trip and I got a call. It wasn't from an agent. It wasn't from anybody but Paul. He was like, "Hey, what's up?" I said, "Who the fuck is this?" I had been on the road for so long, and it's like you would never think in a million years that PTA would be calling your phone. So he's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Who the fuck is this?" He's like, "It's Paul." So I was like, "Oh, what's up?"
Like that.
Yeah, I was like, that's a really good imitation. Yeah.
So
Like bedroom voice kind of.
no, it definitely was very smooth. I mean, but he's already a gentle leader. Like even on set, he's just like, "Yeah, let's just fucking go. Let's get it." It's just always that voice. You know, it's so soothing too. But when he called and he said his name, then it's like I could change my, "Oh, hey, what's going on? How you doing?" He was like, "I have this character. She's so special to me." And, we kind of just chopped it up from there. And I was like, "Listen, I'm willing to ride. If you ride with me, I'm riding with you. If you fucking with me, let's do it." And we really, that's really been my road dog. My hair got a little bit longer, but we was the Pixie twins. So I used to call them twin. I'm like, what we doing, twin? Like, let's just do it. And we did a camera test, and the rest was history. We did a lot of workshopping, and we played with Perfidia's layers, and we created a color palette for her. It was amazing. Honored to be a part.
Did you also have any kind of a chemistry read with Leo?
I did, and I think that was the very first thing that we did after the conversations that Paul and I had, and I remember coming. It was me, Paul, and Leo, and he had the phone. It was so funny that Chase said that he had the phone. He's like this, and me and Leo is reading, and I remember it's like this scene where we get into an argument, and I walk into the house, so Paul's in the house filming. He's like, "Yeah, you did it." It was like a proud uncle, and I was just like, "We got it." So it was just so dope to see him so invested and so proud, and I already was gonna go hard for him regardless, but after that, to see someone believe in you so much, after hearing so many no's and seeing this icon, this GOAT, give you that yes, it meant everything to me, and I knew from that point on that it was just like, yeah, this is either mine to lose or mine to keep.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm here for keeps.
Yeah.
So I continue to put in the work.
I think her imitation of you is pretty good. What do you think you sound like?
Oh, it was like Barry White calling her on the phone or something.
Hey.
Paul will definitely call you on the phone like this. That's Paul.
Leo, I'm going to guess it's been a while since you auditioned for anything. But doing chemistry tests with people like this, I'm sure you have a certain empathy having been on the other side. What do you sort of, think or do to put them at ease?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, with Paul, it's a process. It's not like a strict, specific audition. You have your lines, but then you improvise, and then you have another conversation, and you come by for a visit, a lunch. You hang out a little bit, maybe do a little karate, like you said. And it's like, do I have the part? But I think we knew that, Chase here getting Willa was the heart and soul of the movie. And so a lot of thought was put into who this young lady would be that would really carry the emotional weight of the movie. So we just kept meeting with her. And I don't know, the more we got to know her, she embodied this sort of ferocity, this fighting spirit from her mother, but also this incredible innocence as well. And this strange father-daughter dynamic started to develop, and the idea of phones and the miscommunication between generations. Here I am, sort of off the grid, and of course, my daughter would have a phone. She would have a phone, and she would, betray her dad, and that became a whole. All that stuff came from this. You call it a chemistry read, but I think it was digging to find who these characters were, and then of course with the Perfidia character, we just knew that she would bring that amazing dynamism and the improvisation, because we're all in the wake of her carnage throughout the rest of the movie. I mean, every character is affected by her actions, and we knew we needed somebody with that type of ferocity and talent like Teyana.
And I love your scenes with Benicio. I the whole section of you two together. I'm demanding like a buddy movie, road comedy, maybe called Cahuenga. Benicio, what I really want to know is was this part as fun as it looked? Because it looks like you were having a blast, and you get to throw Leonardo DiCaprio out of a moving car.
Yeah, I was taking care of the diamond, making sure he doesn't fall. That's the future of Hollywood right there, the future of our movie. So I was paying attention. No, but I think the one thing that Paul does that is, aside from the fact that he's really prepared, that he's what he is, one of the great filmmakers working right now, he creates this ambiance on the set where he loves to laugh. And all I remember was laughing with him. When you ask, and Leo is very funny off camera. So I was just sandwiched in this laughter booth. And for me, it was very relaxing because I was coming in from doing another film. I was rushing right into this. I was a little like, what's going to happen here? And it was just, a nice embrace to try to discover your character while doing it, So, and I appreciate that, and, from both Leo and Paul, because they did help a lot.
I mean, your character is also a revolutionary, and you have to do all this fighting, and I think you did a lot of your own stunts. I was sort of curious for all of you, did they send you to some sort of like a training camp for revolutionaries so you could learn to handle guns and do all these things?
Mine involved sitting on the couch and smoking pot.
So method.
I mean, we learned how to shoot guns, but he didn't pre-train us for the running. That was one of the to be determined. One day we just popped up and said, so you guys are going to run 10 blocks, and then we're going to have the helicopter up there, and we got to pop and running, whooped my ass. Whooped my ass.
Well, some people are sprinters, and you see Teyana run in the movie. She runs really, really fast.
Yeah.
But she's a sprinter. So you want her to do 50 yards, and she will win the race. But if you ask her to do 100, she's going to be fucking pissed off at you.
You got one scene that didn't even make it. I was like jumping over the fence with stuff in my hands. I was feeling like Tom Cruise. Like I was really kind of, I was in there. When I seen that scene was deleted, I'm like, I was outrunning. Man, when I tell you I was out of there, and I just knew that was making. I said, oh yeah, when they see this shit in the theaters, it's about to go. He like, yeah, we're reshooting
I
that.
pulled a muscle.
You did.
Oh yeah,
It
my
was
baby knee
horrible.
gave out. Her knee gave out.
He gave up.
Yeah. Regina pulled a muscle, and the stunt guy came. The gun guy came over, and he said, "Is there something I didn't read in the script? Does Deandra get shot inside the bank?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Well, she's limping. I just need to be prepared when we shoot the bank scene in a few days that she's not getting shot, right?" No, she's not getting shot. She pulled a muscle. That's funny. That was funny.
Revolutions are hard. Sean, your character, I mean, there's so much about him, the way he walks, the way his hair looks. I'm just sort of curious how you knew that character, if you put in any specific research or looked into, if you knew something about people in the military.
Well, there's of course you're doing that, but the center of it was, like I said, you sort of hearing the music of it, and then sitting down with Paul, and we did a couple of times, I think, like went through the script page by page, and here and there I'd offer him a little sense of that dancing that I will show, and I think, I mean, the way I'm looking at it now is he felt that will work, and I'll monitor it, and he did, and which was great. Yeah, I stand by my first answer in the sense, yes, of course you do research that's academic sort of and experiential, but the heart of it comes from the writing. And when Benicio says ambience or environment, it's sort of that classic thing that all of us as actors, I think, hear about and wait to really feel. I remember B.B. King said one time, sometimes I got to play an 8-chord for a half an hour before I hear it. Well, sometimes we got to act in a lot of movies before we run into a director who actually creates an environment that is freeing and exciting.
And Cassandra, I'd love to know from your point of view. You've worked with Paul on several movies. I assume you have a shorthand by now. But what does that relationship like? Like, how much guidance do you give her? Or is it kind of a wide berth? Where do you even begin?
It's different on every movie and every role, really. It's like, just like the characters have personalities, it's the same way with that. Some I go off and do lots of stuff and you have no idea and you see 2 things, and some you see like 100 things. Like, it just depends on case by case. And sometimes we're doing actors, and sometimes we're doing real people, and sometimes we're doing military folks, and sometimes we're looking for nurses. It's like, it just depends, like, where we mix it. And I mostly go off a lot alone. I'm always alone. Sent off to like Barfa or El Paso weeks and weeks in advance. So by the time you get there, I've got the whole town, buzzing.
I
they know
understand you cast a lot of non-actors in this movie. Where do you even begin with that?
Well, with their jobs first. You go, okay, if you're a nurse, let's like go find some nurses. And, then sometimes you come across something else and it actually is a better idea. So then a nurse becomes something else. It just completely depends. And when you have like an embarrassment of riches like this, you kind of want to keep them on their toes too by throwing in real people. I mean, the jail nurse, like at one point turned to Leo and was like, "Look at me when I'm talking to you." And he was like, "Wait, what's happening right now?" Like,
Oh, she's a real nurse?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, she's fantastic.
No, the teacher, like there's so many people in there. Like all the nurses are real, and they were just great. They're just doing their job, but at the same time, they were not weirded out by cameras or Leo or anything. And that's the fun stuff. Is when you're out there really looking for that to make it more authentic.
Do they come to you, or do you like put out a call?
Oh, I mean, I tell everybody what I'm doing. Everyone I meet, I tell them what I'm looking for. I go into people's homes.
That's so cool. Wait, with their permission?
Oh yeah, I'm complete strangers. I go into their homes with my camera and like meet their families and audition them all. I mean, and I'm always by myself doing it. I have to say, we're lucky. I probably haven't been abducted or killed.
I think it's part of embracing some. So we went to so many different communities. El Paso was a key city for us for all that stuff with Benicio, and being in a place and being, not wanting to impose anything, but to really sort of tell them why we were there, embrace them, have them be a part of what we were doing, and it helps us, I mean, it keeps us on our toes. It helps us be authentic to that place, respectful to that place. It makes the experience so wonderful. All the family members of Benicio that we found and we work with are El Paso locals who really out of the gate were great, but kind of by the second day really got it. The learning curve was so fun to watch that they got it. And it was a pleasure to do that. Again, in Eureka, where we shot The Cabin in the Woods, we were embracing that community, finding kids. All those kids were from the high school dance at the senior dance in Eureka, where we went and we scouted and we saw what music they played and we saw the kids there. And without being too creepy, I said, "Would you like to be in a movie?" No, we had a better version of that with Cassandra sort of going up.
I love it. I mean, and like I'm getting texts still. They're like, "Are you coming to El Paso? You're gonna have a screening?" Like, I mean, they are still involved. Yeah. And I'm always telling them, and they're like, "Am I in the movie still?" Like they're so excited. They don't even care if they do. They just loved the whole experience.
Yeah.
Well, Benicio, do you like working with non-actors? Do you find it keeps you on your feet?
Yeah. It's I think that's another thing. I think the first scene we did was with Leah walking into that store, and we just met the owner, and we gave her a name, and we just went for it. And I think it did help so much for my relationship with Leo. Just the chaos was just, we were feeding from it, and everybody was in on it, and we were yelling at them, and I was opening the cashier, and there was real money there, and I was taking it out. I gave it back. But it was it really helped ground everything.
Well, again, I want to congratulate you on a fantastic movie. I want to thank you for being a great audience. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.